Ever since I was young, there's been certain firearms that stood out to me as iconic, as historic, whether that was guns that I've seen in action movies or stuff that just looked cool that I always dreamed that I could get my hands on someday. Guys, today the particular submachine gun that I'm going to be running on the range is one of those firearms that I've always seen in action movies and thought it was the coolest thing ever. And because of my connections and the fact that I'm in the industry, I'm fortunate enough to get my hands on one of these. Guys, today we're going to take you on the journey of a one take on this episode of Box of Bullseye into one of my favorite submachine guns. Let's dive into it. Hey Brenton, when you got ready for the range day here, did you put the Uzi in the box? Cause bro, there's no Uzi here.
Check under the box.
When I think of the firearms that stand out to me as iconic, the Uzi and the traditional Uzi stands out as one of the most iconic firearms that I would have seen growing up in action movies and things like that. And unfortunately, up to this point, I've never gotten to get my hands on one until now. And guys, at the beginning of these Box of Bullseye videos, one of the things that I do right off the bat is some disclosures. And IWI did send this gun to us for free. There's no payment, there's no guarantee of a good review or anything like that. And if you're unfamiliar with the Box to Bullseye format, what we're doing here and the objective is to take a gun like this Uzi Pro directly out of the box without having dry fired, without having hit the range or anything like that. And then we take you guys along on the journey to try to figure out what this gun is like out of the box. And there's a few reasons that we created this particular series. Most of them are because we know that everybody can't get out and just go buy every single firearm that you would want. And because of that, and because of our unique position, I want to use the access that we have to get guns that you guys are asking about, take them out on that first range day, and hopefully that gives you guys a little bit of information about the gun and helps you decide if it's a good purchase for you. So some specs on this Uzi Pro. This is a 9mm, 4.5 inch barrel. It's a 1 in 10 twist barrel and it is threaded. As you can see there is a little thread cap, and this is 1/2 by 28 threads. So most of your standard 9mm cans are gonna work with this. If you remember the Uzis from the 80s that you would have seen in action movies, their charging handles were on the top. So when IWI did their Uzi Pro version, the charging handle is actually over here, and you can see the action like this. So what that's allowing them to do is have a full Picatinny section on the top. So if you want to run a modern optic and you don't feel like running the iron sights that come with it in the box, you can slap any red dot up top here and have a little bit more of a refined platform. As you can see out of the box, there's an iron sight front, iron sight rear. This did come with a folding mechanism and a pistol brace on it out of the box. I will note that there is a cap if you want to be totally gangster and run around with this thing with no brace. It does come with the additional cap that you would put on the end of the receiver here to do that, and it would just completely get rid of the brace. I don't honestly know why anybody would do that, but there's also this small piece of me that actually wants to put it on and play around with it like that. But I digress. So out of the box, this thing also comes with 2 25-round magazines, at least the box that I got. And other than that, you're looking at the complete package. Some little details about this gun. There are a couple different safety features. On the side here, which this is a part that I'm super intrigued about, is a safety. And it's in kind of a really awkward place. But as you can see, that would be fire, that would be on safe. The other thing you'll notice is on the back of the grip, there's also a grip safety. So even if you put it on fire, and I'm gonna check that it's clear, just to show you internet trolls that we're safe out here on the wasteland, and you attempt to depress the trigger without the grip safety, it does nothing. So there's no way to actually activate the trigger, push the safety in, the trigger breaks. Internally, there's also a safety that's built in. I haven't taken this thing apart to figure that out. This is a blowback operated 9mm, so it's not like the older Uzis that would have been an open bolt style, fully automatic. This is a semi-automatic pistol, and this is one that most of you could have gotten your hands on, honestly. This is a open market product, and IWI had offered these for quite some time. I will note that on their website, some of these models appear to be discontinued, and I'm not exactly sure why that is, but I was fortunate enough to get my hands on one of these. So that's enough talking about the specs. That's enough talking about what came in the box. Guys, it's time to hit the range. So we got the 2 mags, they're already loaded up. Let's walk down to the targets, and I want to explain kind of what I'm doing here. Normally, I would come very prepared and I would have one of our pistol fundamental paper targets that you guys can download on our website. Go up to resources, check them out. You can download them, print them for free. I did the next best thing, got out my trusty Sharpie over here. I drew 2 small circles, and then these are blacked in, and then about a 2-inch circle. This is an exactly 3.5-inch circle. As you can tell, this is a perfectly executed circle. And that pistol fundamental drill, what I normally do is work the basics. I haven't fired this gun yet, so I need to learn the safety. How does it work? The trigger, how does the trigger feel? What are the recoil impulses? I've also not fired it at all, so I don't know the zero. So maybe out of the box, IWI has this thing dialed in. Maybe they don't. So on this target, we're gonna start up on that black square, or that black circle. See, I'm forgetting my kindergarten shapes already. But on the black circle, we're gonna just put a couple slow rounds and kind of figure out where that height over bore is landing, and if there's any impact shifts at all. And then we'll move on to some more complex drills on paper, and then at the end we're gonna get into some fun stuff. So let's go back to about 5 yards and get started on this guy. All right, first rounds through the Uzi. So I think it's loaded. Oh yeah, she's loaded. All right, gun is on safe. So all we're gonna do is put some slow rounds on that black circle, and we're gonna see where we're hitting. This will be a good opportunity to feel the trigger and see how this thing works. There's surprisingly no recoil on this thing at all. It just feels really nice. The trigger, right out of the box. Hey, there we go. The trigger right out of the box is actually really, really weird. So I just cleared it out. Let's look at that. I'll actually hold it like this. Super heavy. Tons of travel. The reset. Right there's the wall. I mean, you can hear that chunk of steel just slam forward. It's crazy. But let's go check these hits real quick. And there's a reason I want to do that. So putting the front post right in the middle, centering up the sights, and the sights are very much like a Glock sight, and it's going to be hard for you guys to see that, but it's kind of a U shape on the back, and then a front post. And there is a white dot on the front. It reminds me, honestly, a lot of a Glock sight, but putting them right on the center of that dot, I am hitting low, which I would expect because the sights are above the barrel. That's normal, but it is impacting over here to the right. And so that's just something that if I was gonna keep this thing with irons forever, I probably would really be right now dialing it back and getting this thing zeroed up. For the sake of keeping this video moving forward, we're just gonna take a mental note that it is hitting to the right and low, and we're gonna keep going on with those drills, and I will zero it at a different time. But let's go back here. So we got that mag again. All right, so this time I'm gonna, on the buzzer, actually do a low ready, and I'm just gonna bring it up to that smaller circle and try to land one shot on that smaller circle. All right, high right, and a 1.24. Whoop. Try that again. Still high, 1.43. Still a little bit high, and a 1.09. Still hitting high, 1.41. So working that safety is extremely weird. As I'm coming up, I really have to take my thumb at a really awkward position and push it that far forward. It's very strange. And I'm noticing that if you don't have a perfect grip on this gun, like you're actually applying inward pressure, you're not gonna be able to fire the gun. You have to really have a good grip on that gun. So all of those hits are very close to that 2-inch circle, but it's definitely user error. When I'm bringing the gun up, the sights are really wide at the back. There's not a whole lot of precision going on with this gun. Although I did miss the 2-inch circle downrange, if I was shooting A zones, they would have all been in the A zone. All right, so let's do from low ready. We're gonna put 2 rounds in the bigger circle. .39. Split was a .51. Let's do it again. .57. Let's do it one more time. All right, one more thing to note. On that safety, what I'm noticing is it's impossible for me with the same thumb to flip it back. So when I'm going back off of fire onto safe, I'm actually using my support thumb and flipping it back. It's just not possible with your regular thumb to do that. So I'm up here, I break my grip away, flip it back onto safe. I don't know if that's the quote unquote right way to do it, but that's what I'm noticing as I'm shooting this gun. Let's go down and mark these hits real quick and we'll talk about it. So this is no doubt a result of me just not being used to this gun whatsoever. This was that 2-inch circle, and I could feel myself bringing that front sight up high and then breaking the shots high. Again, that will be resolved with time on the gun. This group is a little bit better. But what's interesting to me is I felt pretty confident that I actually had my front sight post where it needed to be on this bigger target. So what I'm wondering is, because I didn't clean this gun at all and it still had the factory lube, could this have possibly been a mistake, or maybe that's not portraying accurate data? So what I want to do right now is come over to this other black circle and we're going to do the exact same thing we did right here. I'm going to put that front sight post on the dead center of that circle and let's see where those bullets land. And this is really just me trying to figure out, where do I have to aim with this gun? We're just going to take our time here. All right, let's go back down range real quick. So what this confirms is this is definitely user error. That's a really nice group too. For being open sights with this little Uzi, I know I'm only at 5 yards, but that's good. That's really good. So now we're gonna go over to the clean cardboard, and I just wanna rack off a build drill, do a couple drills like that, and then we're gonna hit the head box on the cardboard. There's definitely gonna be a reload in here, so we'll just let it happen. High ready. Okay, reloads. Wow, that's funky. I'm actually gonna isolate that real quick. I don't like doing tons of 1R1s. I think that there's other purposeful drills that we could focus on, but it was super awkward to get to that mag release. I'm really used to semi-automatic handguns where you don't even have to move your thumb. It's already right where it needs to be. This is a little bit awkward because as I'm gripping here, my other hand is completely covering it, as you can see. So I have to actually shift grip, kind of break it a little bit, and hit that button. So that's why I was fumbling so bad with that. I haven't done any reloads up to this point with this thing. Let's try a 1R1 drill and just see how that goes now that I know what I have to do. Hi, ready? Let's do that one more time. One other thing to note with the Uzi, it does not have last round hold open. So you would have noticed that with that first drill that I kept firing and that last round was on an empty chamber because I didn't know how much ammo I had. Let's do one more 1R1. Hi, ready? Cool. So it's definitely very doable. It's just definitely strange. It's different. I don't even know that you could call it strange. I just think that it's different than what I'm used to, so I'm fumbling a little bit with that reload. But it's not horrible. I definitely think with a little bit of time on this thing, I could really get used to the reloads and the other mechanics. And honestly, that's part of learning a new firearm. It's just getting used to everything. Where's the charging handle? Where's the safety? What are the quirks that the gun has? And that's kind of the fun of firearms. It's why we get into it, why we start collecting things. But I digress. I'll get onto that topic in another video. For now, let's do a bill drill. So that's 6 rounds. We're a little close for a bill drill, but I just want to see what the cadence is like and how fast I can run it with this Uzi completely stock. We'll do low ready. Whoop. Do it again. I accidentally pushed the safety. Wow. 1.66. See if the camera will focus on that or not. It's a 1.66, and the splits are 0.21. So the first shot was 0.6, 0.22 split, 0.21, 0.21, 0.21, 0.21. I want to see if I can do that again. I have 1 Charlie. That's it. So 1 flew a little bit high on that, but all the other ones landed in the A. Let's do 1 more bill drill. And then we might be out of ammo. That was a 1.44, and we've got first shot 0.44, and I threw that one really low. 0.22, 0.18, 0.2, 0.2, 0.2. Let's go down range real quick. This little gun can freaking burn it down. I'm actually super pumped. Oh, there's that one that went way low. Oh no, that's from the zip tie. Okay, funny story about this. I also forgot the stapler. So today we're holding up our targets with zip ties. So that is not a round. This is the one that I threw really low. This was that first Charlie from that first round. And I had 2 Charlies on that last round, burning it down at 1.44. So we had about a 1.6, it was a 1.6 or 1.66 in the first round, and a 1.44 with the Uzi on the last one. So I have 3 more rounds in this gun right now. I want to just do some ready ups on the head box. So all that is I'm just going to start at a high ready, push out, and put 1 round into the head box from 5 yards. So let's go down range and do that. We'll see if I can land these shots. Remember, it hits a little bit low, a little bit right. So I'm gonna have to put that front post a little bit above the top of the target. And it's really funky to do that with iron sights. Let's do it from high ready. Shot right over the target. So I had it up too high. Let's do it again. Shot right over the target again. We got to bring that down. Try to get this on the last shot. And I pulled that one right. So obviously I have a lot to work on with this gun. And there's definitely some fundamentals that I need to work on. Let's actually walk over to the table real quick. Right out of the gate, I can tell you guys that although the trigger feels really heavy, and I'll show you that one more time, try to depict this for you on camera. That trigger has tons of walk there. The reset is super long. And I was honestly expecting that to be a downfall of this right out of the box. But I didn't notice anything about it. It didn't hold me back. You could see the splits. The splits were 0.18 at my fastest, 0.2 to 0.22 were a really fast, consistent split with this gun. And as of right now, I've now fired 50 rounds through this gun. Aside from that, it's got a really short length of pull, so it's really strange. Your face is right here, right off the brace. So what that means is it's very hard to get a precise sight picture of the iron sights. Other than that, honestly, like I expected, I'm kind of falling in love with this thing, but I'm going to be truthfully honest with you guys. I'm not planning on running it in this configuration. So we're going to take a pause, stack some ammo in the mags, and we're actually going to deck out this Uzi a little bit into more of a configuration of how it's going to be into the future. And then we're going to run some more drills. So let's do that. The Uzi is now set up in what I would consider a more permanent outfit. Like I said about 10 minutes ago, I wasn't planning on keeping the Uzi stock. So I'm not gonna dive super in depth with what I did here, but we did zero it up. We are gonna run subsonic ammunition for the second half of this video. Just to give you a quick rundown of what I've got on the end here, we've got a Silencer Co. hybrid suppressor through my Inforce APL on the bottom here, Steiner D-Ball A3 with visible laser, IR flood, and then we have the primary arms SLX with the ACSS reticle, and I put the pressure pad over here. And this thing is all zeroed up. I got both mags stacked with subsonic ammunition. So we're gonna go back down here to about 5, maybe 7 yards, and we're gonna do a little bit of a build drill. And I also want you guys to see how quiet this Uzi is now. So let's do this. First things first, let's put some rounds into dirt just so you guys can understand how crazy quiet this is. All right, let's hit that mini vital zone target. Mini ADAP. And C zone. This thing is absolutely insane at this point. When I thought of an Uzi and I think about shooting an Uzi, this is what I'm envisioning. So now let's do a build drill. We've got a target downrange. This is at over 20 yards. Now I'm going to use the timer to initiate the start, but obviously it's not going to pick up these shots because they are so quiet. But let's do this. And then we're going to do one more complex drill where we kind of tie paper steel into one drill that incorporates movement as well as static positions. It's going to give you guys an idea of how to use steel targets, but also how this thing's running. So let's do this from high ready. All A zone. This thing is absolutely wicked. You want a cheat code to delete recoil? This is how you do it. So guys, now the drill we're gonna put together incorporates a bunch of movement. It's gonna incorporate some of our mini ADAP systems, the Raven target, and at the end, the Phoenix. So stick with me here, we're gonna run this drill. And I'm sure there's gonna be a reload in here, but this is tying everything together. So let's do this. Man, this gun is absolutely wicked. So if you didn't catch the drill, we had 2 rounds on USPSA targets. Then I moved, and while moving, had to hit the Raven target, had to transition over to the mini ADAP. I did have a forced reload there. And then at the end here, we shot the Phoenix plate rack. So got my blood pressure up, got my heartbeat racing, got a little bit of movement in, and now I have a little bit better idea of what this Uzi has to offer. So overall, guys, this is not a review. I want to make that clear from the get-go. What I'm not trying to do here is tell you, hey, you should go out and buy an Uzi. I don't think that that would be smart. And also, at this point, I only have about 75 rounds through this gun. So the reality is, I do not have enough time on this gun to say it's reliable long-term. There's no malfunctions or anything like that. And I also haven't checked accuracy, different types of ammo, and all of that stuff. So keep that in mind. This is not a review. But what I did confirm is one of my childhood guns that is iconic, one that I've always wanted to have, something that I've always wanted to have in my possession, is as fun as I expected. So overall, the things that I see with this gun, this would be a phenomenal backpack gun. This would be one that you could throw in your vehicle, one you could carry with you easily. It does have a folder. It's sort of hard to show you guys. But when you look at this package all together and you think about the fact that with a suppressor, and if you got a dedicated pistol can that's much shorter, you could actually fit this entire thing in a backpack and have it at your ready to just deploy. It can shoot folded. There's no limitations there. An AR-15 you could not. So overall, I'm excited to dive into this more. You're gonna be seeing more and more content with this particular gun in the very near future. And I'm also gonna do a full review over on my personal YouTube channel, which is Keystone Carry, and we'll put a link down in the description over there as well. So definitely stay tuned. When I do that video, that's the one where I'm gonna give the full rundown of a high volume use of this gun. But that is gonna take us a couple weeks or maybe even a couple months, because we're gonna be using this thing a lot over this winter, coupled with our night vision and the other gear that we are running. So if you found this video helpful, leave a comment down below. Let us know what you think. If you hate Uzis, let us know what you think. We don't really care. It's kind of an ugly gun, but I think it has a place. I'm excited to dive more into this, but I would love your feedback and questions about this particular build. Leave them down in the comment section. We appreciate you guys subscribing to our channel and checking out our website, tatargets.com. That's a great way for you to support us. Go check it out. Thank you for watching the video. And guys, I'm just gonna shoot this plate rack one more time.